J.K. Rowling has been kind of awful on social media for a few years. I think we can all agree on that. And more of her time and attention over time has gone towards attacking the trans community. But she appears recently to have crossed a transphobic line that even other notable famous transphobes are not interested in following her across. So this time her target was Lucy Clark, the first openly trans manager in the top 5 divisions of English women's soccer. And she had posted, "When I was young, all the football managers were straight, white, middle-aged blokes. So it's fantastic to see how much things have changed." Because she's saying that they haven't, because she can't bear that a trans person exists out there. That's who she is now. She used to be an author. She used to dazzle and entertain millions. And now she just picks fights online with trans people. That's who she is. So anyway,
crazy.
She doubles down on that. So there's an article saying J.K. Rowling is accused of cruelty as she mocks transgender football manager by comparing her to a straight white middle-aged bloke, to which she said, "I didn't compare him to one, he is one." And I think that's the tone you have to read that in, because that's the voice in her soul. Before I get to her crossing the line though, I do want to just point out the fiction that J.K. Rowling has maintained, that other notable transphobes have maintained, is that they don't hate trans people, they just care about women, not including trans people. You know, what they consider real women. They just want to protect them. It's not about cruelty, it's not about exclusion, they just want to protect women. Why are you mocking people online? What part of protecting biological women is that? No, it's not that at all. She's a small, hateful, cruel little person. And despite having hundreds of millions of dollars and at one point at least legions of fans, that was not enough to make her feel important. This makes her feel strong and powerful by taking regular trans people and just trying to nuke them from orbit. But as I said, this seems needlessly cruel, even for cruel people. Elon Musk replied to one of these comments saying, "While I heartily agree with your points regarding sex and gender, may I suggest also posting interesting and positive content on other matters?" Oh my God. When Elon Musk is saying that your Twitter activity is repetitive and cruel, you've got a problem. Because Elon Musk, of course, literally for all of his love of free speech and everything, he literally has banned use of the term cis. So clearly very transphobic, so much so that it's caused him personal trouble in his own life, by the way. But even he's like, "Hey, could you talk about like a novel you wrote or something? Could you talk about a TV show? Because this is getting really uncomfortable." What do you think, Viviana?
I mean, she must have used all her creative juices on the, incredible Harry Potter series. That was it. She doesn't have anything more fun to. And she now is becoming Voldemort. I don't understand. I don't get this whole, if you're really trying to protect women as you claim to, guess what? There are women who have transgender children. You don't want to protect them? You want to rip their children apart? You want to tear them apart? So how are you protecting anybody by ripping anybody apart? It just makes no sense. I have people in my life that I cannot see them, and I haven't seen them for months. And the first conversation we have, boom, transphobia. Filled with it. They gotta talk about transgender. They gotta talk about grooming. They gotta talk about all this stuff. And it's like, what is going on in your mind? Why is this prevalent issue? And I'm guessing it's all these shock jocks out there and these, talking heads that wanna kind of spew this hatred. But when you got someone like Elon Musk who doesn't really have a caring bone in his body, and I don't think he even cares now, but we're bored of it. Get over it. It's done. Okay, you hate you hate trans people. Great. Okay, and it doesn't make any sense what you're doing, because you're gonna say that you're protecting people, but you're actually hurting everyone, including yourself. If you wanna protect women, protect yourself and zip your lips and start writing some more. Voldemort.
Yeah, I just even I cannot conceive of believing the things they believe. But even if you believe those things, if you had no interest in all of the academia and writing about how the trans identity or alternative to cis gender identities are not some new modern thing. They've existed in every culture across the entirety of human civilization. It is not some unique modern mental illness that you think it is. Even if you ignored all of that stuff and you just thought it was, these people are crazy, or I don't understand why they're doing this. I still would not wake up every morning and run to my computer to start attacking them.
That was a fast Tom Cruise run too.
Does she not? I know. Well, I was trying to get there. Like he jumps on his motorcycle to get to the computer.
Mission Impossible.
Can you live your life, you creepy weirdo? She's one of the richest women in the world. And this is her life. And by the way, this is kind of personal to me. I don't mean personal because of all the trans attacks. I've covered that territory. It's personal to me because I write fiction quasi as a professional. I have a Patreon or whatever. I'm not really professional, never been actually published.
Yes, you are.
For fiction. I wish I had free time to just write whatever I want. And she has that. She has a baked in fan base. She could write any goddamn book she wants. But instead, she's writing attacks against trans people on Twitter. And in the end, this is one of the main things she will be known for. People will remember Harry Potter, and it'll have sort of a mixed legacy, similar to how Game of Thrones, had the bad last season or whatever. But mostly in her latter years, she's gonna be known as just a hateful, broken woman. That's all. And I don't think it's necessary. If all you actually care about is protecting women, then put $300 million into women's shelters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's nothing, no women are being protected by you attacking trans coaches on Twitter.
And coaches who are trying to, help people become better at sports. Who cares? What does this have to do with anything to do with you? It's just wild. And you're right. It's sad. She's ruining her legacy. She's going to be known as this angry, unhappy person. And she's standing on this soapbox thinking she's doing good. You're not doing any good. The best thing you can do is something positive. If you're really fanatical about women's sports, then go invest in women's sports. Don't get on a soapbox about one-off person who decided to live the way that they want to live. Most people who have personal relationships with someone who has had a transition, support them. Why? Because we love the human that they are. So she has now, I don't know if she just lives in like a little hole somewhere and doesn't talk to anybody and doesn't have any friends or family, but like you have like not recognizing that we connect with each other as humans, not as genders, not as genitalia. So get over yourself. I just weird.
Like there are some people who they don't know, but Twitter just ruined their life. Like it broke them as people, like because of what they can say, but also because of what they read. There are people who become obsessed with the things they see. And look, to some extent, she was, I'm sure, pushed further into this path of radicalization by the opposition that she experienced from her first statements or whatever. But like, she was made into like, if you talk to her the morning of the day that she signed up for Twitter, I am sure she would have never imagined that this is who she would become. But in the same way that like being on 4chan or can radicalize you, or being on like Daily Stormer, or people get radicalized through all things, you can get radicalized through Twitter. And J.K. Rowling is a great example of it. I'll never understand it.
Okay, one of your followers. Oh, go ahead.
What were you saying?
I would say one of your followers made a good point that she made her money writing as a woman, but under a pen name to pretend she was a man. So I don't know. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I love the crossover, J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk, because they're the two people that just most needed to shut the hell up. And you would have had a great reputation, man. All you had to do was shut up. That's it. And you couldn't do that. You couldn't shut up. It's like how they say,
talk about that submarine.
Yeah, I had to talk about that submarine. And both of them, got into really weird sexual and gender stuff. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?